Good morning. It is Thursday. It's the 29th of May, and our reading is from Ephesians 6:4. Fathers, do not provoke your children to anger, but raise them up in the discipline and the instruction of the Lord. Now, often not often, that because I don't work with kids, but now and again, parents will bring their children to me to work with. And of course, this is not uncommon in Christian counseling in general. And the problem with that is that usually it's the parents that need to be worked on because the kids are a product of that when they're children. And Scripture makes it very clear that parents aren't to provoke their children because when they do, as the adults, then they may not get a response that's appropriate, but they have some responsibility for it. And I find it in a very ironic and sad way. When a couple's marriage is falling apart, they bring the kids to you to straighten out. And my attitude, I don't always say this, is so in other words, you act like children, but you expect your children to act like adults. Instead of provoking them, what are we told? To help them grow up in what? The nurture and the admonition. That is training them in the things of the Lord. And notice the word nurture them. In other words, care for them, love them. Yes, discipline them because that's how the Lord nurtures us. But in love and humility and in the Word. And that doesn't guarantee they're going to be saved because God has no grandchildren. But it certainly improves the likelihood that they're going to turn to Him. And what we want to see is that when they think of the God as Father, that word isn't negatively loaded. Because often adults I've worked with, because of their childhood, they have a real problem with seeing God as their Father because that word is so loaded negatively. So, children don't come with a handbook, and every child is an individual. But if you demonstrate the reality of the Lord in your life to them and train them in Scripture and the ways of the Lord, you are carrying out your responsibility as a parent. And by the way, that includes when as parents we mess up, we need to let the children know we know that and ask them for forgiveness. Because the parents who try to convince their kids they're perfect, kids know better. They see it as hypocrisy, and that undermines their faith and their trust and their willingness to turn to God. Now, no parent is responsible for whether a child is lost or saved. Again, God has no grandchildren. But certainly, parents have a strong positive influence for the Lord if they live the Lord out in their own lives. So, if you have children, be a blessing to them. And if you don't, look for opportunities to encourage parents and children in the Lord as He provides those opportunities. And have a blessed day, and I'll see you again tomorrow.